Hello, friends, and welcome to this amazing Monday night Essential Oils 101 class. I am the presenter, Elizabeth Rose, and just wanted to bring some phenomenal, fabulous information all about the basic essential oils that we literally use on a daily basis. So a few of my family members are on the Zoom tonight, and I may have them jump in and share some stories because we've actually been using Young Living's essential oils for 25 years. I'm 32 now. I was only 6 years old when my mother, Terry Seacrest, started using essential oils. My brother Daniel is on with us tonight, and he is in Florida. And then his wife, Sophia, is on, and she's a new essential oil guru. And so it is just honestly something that I feel like it's a legacy. Having this knowledge of how to take care of our health naturally is a legacy that not only I got to grow up with, but now I get to share. And if you're somebody that has children and you can pass this legacy on to them, oh my goodness, I truly believe that we can help see Gary Young's vision to get essential oils into every household around the world a reality. So the reason I love teaching these classes is honestly not to sell a bunch of products, not to, do some big marketing scheme or anything, but it's to get the knowledge out there so that we are empowered to take our own healthcare into our own hands on a daily basis. So today, the main essential oils I want to talk about are ones that are found in Young Living's Premium Starter Kit. And there's 12 essential oils that come with that kit, as well as the diffuser. So if you're already a Young Living member, you know about that. Maybe that's what you got started with. Write that in the chat and write down how long ago it was that you got your starter kit and maybe a little bit of a experience with that. If you are seeing this and you're like, I don't have any oils yet. Okay, I hope this can be a good thing to convince you that it's a beautiful, worthy purchase that is worth your investment into your own health and into your family's health. So the beautiful thing is I'm going to go ahead and start the PowerPoint here and share my screen. An amazing, amazing leader in Young Living, Sarah Harnish, created this presentation, and I'm going off of this and sharing the script that she has as well. So let's check this out here. But what's so beautiful, getting started is this question of what are essential oils? Okay, so what are essential oils and how do we use them? And I shared a little bit of my personal story, which was just my family. My mother started to use essential oils when I was 6. But the beautiful thing is, by the time I was 9 years old, I already had my own crazy stories about using essential oils, if I would get a bug bite or something happened down at the horse barn. I got kicked in the arm one day and had a massive bruise on my arm. What did I do? I went and grabbed some of the essential oils and asked mom what to do. I am going to try to be as compliant as possible tonight, but the beautiful thing is we are allowed to share personal testimonies. So don't take anything I say as prescribing or diagnosing, because I am not a medical doctor. And so I don't prescribe or diagnose. However, I do feel like it's so valuable to share personal testimonies because it's real life things that happened. And so without any exaggeration or anything, I'll be sharing some great stories tonight over the 25 years I've been using Young Living's essential oils. Literally for everything under the sun. So moving on into what are essential oils, okay? There's a lot of different definitions floating around out there. If you've searched online, I'm sure you've found blogs and things like that. But literally, essential oils are just the most powerful part of the plant. If you can think of taking a leaf and tearing it and this little sap drips out, that's kind of like the blood of the plant. Well, the essential oil is like the blood of the plant that has been distilled out of that plant, put into a little bottle. And now we have access to use the power of that plant material actually to support our body's health naturally. So essential oils are distilled from the shrubs, flowers, trees, roots, bushes, fruit, rinds, resins, and herbs. Oils consist of 100 different natural organic compounds, and in humans, they provide support for every system of the body. So if you think of your skeletal system, muscular system, circulatory system, endocrine system, your hormones, respiratory system, immune system, essential oils actually support brain health, and they can support healthy weight and healthy weight management. They are used extensively for spiritual support during prayer time. And that is one of my all-time favorite ways to use essential oils, and the element of emotional support. And we're going to get into how and why essential oils can be used for emotional support. The beautiful thing is, essential oils aren't just something that's like a fad that's come around the last 20 years. If people even ask me, oh my gosh, essential oils, I've heard of that. What, like 3 years ago? I mean, how long have they been around? And I just think, oh, essential oils have actually been around more than 2,000 years. And how do we know that? Because they're mentioned in ancient documents, one of those being the Holy Bible. And so literally in the book of Genesis in the Bible, chapter 37 is the very first mention of essential oils. And it's when Joseph was sold to slave traders and taken off to Egypt. So in that chapter of the Bible, that specific caravan actually carried spices, balm, and myrrh. And then in the end of Genesis, it ends with the burial of Joseph's father, and it says that he was anointed with myrrh. So there's over 1,100 different direct and indirect mentions of essential oils in scripture. So when you think of what are essential oils, just know that these are beautiful plant oils that haven't just come on the scene in the last 10, 15, 20 years. They have been actually studied since the early 1900s by medical doctors. And there was this rediscovery early 1900s. So some of the oldest cultures on the earth actually used essential oils. A few of those cultures are the Babylonians. We know that they use cedarwood, myrrh, and cypress. The Egyptians use oils for beauty and embalming. And the Egyptians actually have the oldest recorded deodorant recipe made with essential oils. So if you get a little stinky, we probably have something that can help with that. In Pakistan and in Rome, essential oils were a common part of their bathhouses. Why? Because essential oils are cleansing to the skin and also deodorizing, and then help create that beautiful smell that's going to last a little bit longer and keep you kind of not so stinky. You know, like I mentioned, essential oils were used in Jesus' time, and we read that the wise men, who we know to be kings, actually gave Jesus gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So 2 of those 3 gifts were essential oils, and back then they knew how to use them. And back then, essential oils were actually part of, you know, if you were royalty and a person was trying to determine how much money a royal person had, they would actually take into consideration how much frankincense and myrrh, cinnamon bark, cedarwood, and those essential oils and those spices. And that is how they would determine the level of royalty that a person was at 2,000 years ago. So this isn't something brand new that's just come on the scene. It has been around a long time. Essential oils were used by the medieval Europeans, and it was only in 1910 when a French chemist and scholar named René Marie Scott Facé plunged his hands into pure lavender after a severe burn in his laboratory, and that's how essential oils were rediscovered. He got a chemical burn on his arm. He thought, oh my goodness, there's a bucket of liquid. I'm going to dump my arm in it. And it turns out it was lavender oil. So starting in 1910, this is when the rediscovery of essential oils happened. And so this Rene Marie-Scapfasset, his research started to lay the foreground for the French to have some of the top distilleries in the world in the 1900s. And then it was under some of those famous distilleries that Young Living's founder, Dr. Gary Young, studied. And then the science on the use of essential oils has grown ever since then. So there's a little bit of a foundation on essential oils. Now, the crazy thing, when we are talking 2022, we're in a brand new year, okay, is quality. Because you can't just go down to the grocery store and find a good quality essential oil that is going to do the most medicinal good in the body. So we're going to talk about quality a little bit right now and why I personally have chosen Young Living and chosen to stay with this company for 25 years. It's a 27-year-old company based out of the United States. So trusting essential oils, you know, you could buy lavender online, you could buy lavender at a farmer's market, you could buy it at a bulk food store, but the trouble is that there's actually no essential oil labeling. So whereas when you go get a can of Campbell's soup and you read on the back, here's the ingredients, here's the nutrition facts, etc., there's no labeling like that with essential oils. In fact, I believe the statistic right now is that you only need 10% of a pure essential oil in a bottle to, on that label of the bottle, say that it's pure oil. That means that 90% of what's in that bottle can be what we call a filler. And sometimes those fillers, depending on how you're using that essential oil, could be harmful for the body or could be toxic. So if we're trying to get away from toxins, wouldn't you agree with me that you want to choose an essential oil that's 100% essential oil and planted, grown, harvested, distilled, bottled with the highest quality standards, right? And so when we're talking quality of oils, what is a grading standard? I personally love the seed to seal standard that Young Living has because that is leading the quality standards around the world for essential oils now. You can check out seed2seal.com to read more about the seed to seal quality standards, but I'll give a few little hints here. And so I believe that one thing that sets Young Living apart from all the other companies is the seed to seal promise that they give us. And basically, what Young Living does is that they don't strip any of the constituents to make an essential oil better. They don't take lavender in the laboratory and say, we're going to take this part out and this part out and this part out and just put this in the bottle. No, they take the entire, all of the natural constituents found in that lavender when it was distilled, and that is what you get in the bottle. And this is one reason why our oils work so much better and efficiently, because the human body can recognize this is an organic, natural plant material. We can read this. We know how to use this. Kind of interesting, right? So another interesting thing is that Young Living doesn't mix species of the same oil. So there are different species of lavender, species of oregano, etc. What you get in a bottle is just one species of that oil from the same field on the same farm, kind of a thing. Young Living also doesn't spray weed killer, pesticides, herbicides, or use genetically modified seeds. So this is huge. We do not have the organic symbol on our bottles because it is different than the even higher quality standards of seed to seal, which is a better rating system when you're talking about essential oils. So I hope that makes sense there. An interesting fact is that Young Living spends $12,000 per acre to actually hand weed our fields. The crazy thing is industry standards is that they will spend $60 per acre and spray with pesticides and herbicides because it's much cheaper than weeding. But the thing is, when you spray, that spray also gets on your plant material, and then it's going to end up in your distiller, and it's going to end up in your essential oils. So isn't that a beautiful thing? We don't have to worry about any chemicals on our plants when they're distilled. However, when we talk about cost, remember, pure, therapeutic grade, unadulterated essential oils that don't have any pesticides or herbicides are going to cost more because of that hand weeding. Another cool thing is the soil isn't tainted with mercury, arsenic, glyphosates, or any of the poisonants, because the fields are just untouched. And we also buy the land, Young Living buys the land around the fields so that there's not going to be leakage from maybe a chemical plant or another farm or something like that. So that is a beautiful consideration. And there's also this other element of harvesting a plant at the right time of the day and the right conditions in order to get the most medicinal properties out of an essential oil. So what I've personally experienced was being in Utah. Gary Young was standing right in front of me. He went to this big slab of lavender that had just been cut that morning, and he was taking this little meter, and it was a glucose meter. And about every 20 minutes, he would test the glucose level of the plant. And what he was doing was finding out exactly at what point that plant, like the plant's immune system kicked up, and what time it was going to be best to then take that plant material and put it into the distillation vat, this big 8-foot round, 10-foot deep metal distillation vat, close the lid, you put water in there, it steams up, and that's what draws out the liquid essential oil from the plant that goes through these piping and down into this basin that catches the essential oil. So it is amazing to actually go to Young Living's farms in Utah and Idaho. I've been to their farm in Oman. They have probably 15 to 20 farms that we own around the world, as well as partner farms that also grow according to our strict regulations. So this is just one extra reason why I truly believe that it's so powerful to know where your essential oils come from. And thankfully, because of having gone to the farms, I know. Here's another cool, interesting fact. So Gary Young grew heliochrysum plants at the St. Mary's farm in Idaho, then in Mona, Utah, and then the Mediterranean country of Croatia. And he really wanted to see what conditions that heliochrysum plant grew the best in. And now we grow it in Croatia. And he's also working with the preservation of heliochrysum, because at one point people were not harvesting it correctly, and it was threatened by extinction, basically. So we believe, I'm thankful that Young Living is doing a good job of preserving the heliochrysum plant. Isn't that amazing? And that goes with so many other crops and other species of plants and things like that that we take so much care with. So basically, is that a good thing to convince you? Don't go to the store, buy an off-brand of oil because it's half the price or it's cheaper, kind of a thing. You just realize, oh my goodness, quality standards, this really means something. I need to be aware of this. Moving on. This is a really cool thing about frankincense oil, because we're going to talk about that today. When it comes to frankincense, the frankincense resin actually has to be distilled at the proper temperature for many, many days. So that's one element of it. But first, what you do is when you have the frankincense tree, you take a knife, you scrape the bark of it, and out comes this white sap. The sap is going to crystallize on the bark, and a few days later you pull that crystal of frankincense off, and that's when you can put it in the distillation vat, add your water, it emulsifies again and turns back into liquid. And then it takes several days for that liquid to actually be distilled and turned into this really, really high medicinal grade of frankincense, right? So Young Living's frankincense is rather pricey. It's in the $70 range for a 15 ml bottle. The thing is, you can go like to a bookstore and get frankincense anointing oil, or to the grocery store and get a $20 bottle of frankincense. If you can imagine what I'm going to say, though, not the same quality, is not going to have the same health benefits. And so, again, know where your oil comes from and how the trees are being taken care of. Because frankincense trees, you can only harvest them 3 times a year. harvesting, pulling that sap out in order to maintain the immune system of the tree and the life of the tree. So that is another thing that Young Living does, especially in the country of Oman where I've been, is I've gotten to see the frankincense trees that we harvest, and they're taken very well care of, and the integrity of the tree is really kept. So that's a beautiful thing. Another interesting fact, okay? And I promise we will get into talking about how to use these oils, but I think this is some interesting information to just kind of wrap our heads around. What is an essential oil and why should I care where I buy my oil from? So here it goes. Here's a few more facts. It takes a great deal of work to actually produce a tiny amount of authentic essential oil. 60,000 rose blossoms provides only 1 ounce of rose oil. So you think of a massive semi-truck full of rose petals is only going to get you a tiny little amount of rose oil. That's why our rose oil, very expensive. Very expensive. It's about $160 a bottle, I think, for a small bottle. But it's pure rose oil and you only need a little bit. You can make a roller out of it. You can dilute it yourself, which I love to do. I take a roller and I add some of the V6 mixing oil, which is like coconut oil, olive oil, a few other oils mixed together, a few drops of my rose, and then use that as a perfume, and it's gorgeous. So you could dilute yourself. This is the beautiful thing. However, it's way more potent to have your pure essential oil in the bottle you get, and then you get to decide what you're doing with it. Now, moving on to lavender though, however, lavender is a lot more abundant. So you think 60,000 rose blossoms provides only a little bit of rose oil, right? About 200 pounds of lavender will provide 7 pounds of oil. A lot more oil for lavender. Jasmine flowers have to be picked by hand before the sun becomes hot on the very first day when a jasmine flower opens. This making it one of the most expensive oils in the world. So jasmine. And why? Jasmine has been talked about in many, many ancient manuscripts as well because of its rarity and how hard it is to get, but its beautiful smell and its benefits for the skin. So another cool thing is it takes 8 million hand-picked blossoms to produce 2.2 pounds of jasmine oil. Whoa. So you think precious? We're talking gold and silver precious? Like if you want something of value, stock up on some essential oils. I'm serious. Have frankincense at your house and be like, friends, you know what? I might not drive the nicest vehicle, but I got some bottles of frankincense in my back room. Sounds silly, but it's so true. Another cool fact, sandalwood tree has to be 30 years old and 30 feet high before it can be cut down for distillation. So young living sandalwood trees must be 90% dead before they're harvested. And we have a beautiful sandalwood farm in Hawaii. And so we have our Royal Hawaiian sandalwood. And again, it is expensive, but why is that? Because the sandalwood tree has to be 90% dead, which means it's had its full lifespan. You have to go find the trees, and then you can use that tree for sandalwood essential oil, which is amazing for skin and so many different things. So are oils safe? This is another great question. And let me see where my slides go here. Because let me see here. Oh, great. We've got some slides I haven't even gotten to yet. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just going to scroll through here. Okay, so we were talking about frankincense. Check out this slide. This is what it looks like. When you scrape the bark of a frankincense tree, this white sap comes out. And then you see that bottle of frankincense there with the little resin drops. That's the hard frankincense. And actually, people that harvest frankincense will chew on the little crystals, kind of like gum. And it's really good for your gums. So when I was in Oman, I got this big bag of frankincense crystals, and for about a year, I would just suck on frankincense and eat it. Might sound weird. It tastes very earthy. It's not like your normal spearmint gum, but it actually is very beneficial for your teeth and your gums. How interesting is that? So here we talked about authentic essential oils, manipulated, perfume, and synthetic. Okay. And
most of what is grown today is treated with pesticides. That's not so healthy for the environment, but does it really affect us? Meet the palmboke family. They don't eat organic food.
Det kostar mer än vanlig mat. Det blir en stor skillnad när man är många i en familj.
But for the next 2 weeks, the palmbokes are going to eat only organic. Before they begin, urine samples are taken from each of the family members. And it turns out they have a number of different pesticides inside their bodies.
Vi hittade framförallt insektsmedel, svampmedel och stråförkortningsmedel.
Vi äter insektsmedel.
Vad äckligt.
Ja.
So, everything in the kitchen is replaced, and they begin eating only organic. Then, another round of samples are taken, and now, almost all the pesticides have disappeared.
Vi vet ju väldigt lite om långtidseffekter av att äta mat som har besprutats. Speciellt med tanke på att studier har visat att kemikalier i kombination kan vara långt farligare än kemikalier var och en för sig.
När man får höra det här så tänker man framförallt på barnen. Det är många kemikalier som har lämnat deras kroppar och jag vill inte ha tillbaka dem i mina barn.
wow, that is so powerful. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and move on to actually just how well. Okay, so let's talk about safety of essential oils real quick. This is a good thing because you're probably wondering, how do I use essential oils? How do I use them safely? How do I use them in such a way that I'm not going to have any bad side effects or skin rash or anything like that? So this is something, of course, I get asked a lot. And the beautiful thing, having used essential oils for 25 years, you just learn how to use them over time. But don't be afraid to trial and error, but I will teach you a few very specific things here that you want to take note of, because there's 3 main ways to use essential oils, right? We can use them aromatically, which would be putting a drop in the palm of your hand, inhaling it, or putting it in a diffuser, a cold air diffuser. You never want to heat the oils, but you want to get it in that cold air diffuser and it gets into the air, which is not only going to allow you to smell it, but it's also going to be beautiful and purify the air of your home or your office or wherever you're using it. So then that is aromatically. Second, we can use essential oils topically on the skin. And thirdly, we can use them internally in very small amounts. And what I would say to that is Young Living has 40 specific, what we call vitality oils. And they come in a bottle with the kind of white label. And at the bottom of it, it says Vitality. So you're going to see that labeling versus kind of a normal bottle that's just going to look like this. So here on the label of this bottle, it's going to tell you how to use it topically, apply 1 to 2 drops, dilute if needed, that kind of a thing. Here, it's going to tell you add 1 to 2 drops to a glass of water, add to an empty gel capsule, and add to your food as a dietary supplement. So what I'm going to do today, for the sake of being very FDA compliant, is talk about vitality oils when it comes to internal use and how it can affect the internal organs of our body, And then I will talk about topical application for the oils that we may more so use topically. So those are the three main things. Now, when you're using an oil topically, you may want to do what we call a spot test. So for instance, Valor, this is actually a beautiful oil that I love to apply to the bottoms of my feet and down my spine. It's one that is not generally irritating to the skin, so I don't personally dilute Valor when I apply it. Now, if I was to use Thieves on my chest, let's say, Thieves is a blend that has cinnamon bark and rosemary and lemon in there. And so because of the cinnamon bark and the rosemary, those are known to be hotter oils. And so they can sometimes be a little bit irritating to the skin or like a really warm feeling. So oftentimes when a person first starts using our Thieves blend, I do recommend that they do about 2 drops of the Thieves and then add a little bit of the B6 mixing oil or some coconut oil or olive oil, and then apply that topically as to just be sure that your skin is going to do well with it. However, Thieves is something that when you apply it to the bottoms of your feet, because the skin on the bottoms of your feet is very tough, I don't dilute Thieves when I apply it to the bottoms of my feet because the skin is tougher and I personally don't generally have any reaction to it. Now, if a person is very toxic, let's say that they've been exposed to toxins in their work, or maybe they have a lot of liver toxicity, things like that, that would be the slight chance that there may be a little bit of like if you were using our Digest blend that supports just a good tummy, healthy digestion with Thieves Vitality. There's been a very few cases that somebody's had a little bit of like a red spot, over their tummy area when they use that. And it's more than likely because toxins are being drawn out of that area, which is a good thing, but not always the most comfortable. So honestly, those are the very few things that I've experienced when it comes to any kind of bad side effects with essential oils. So I would highly beware of Google searching anything when it comes to oils because you don't know what you're going to find. You don't know who's written it. You also don't know who has been paid to write it. Because unfortunately, there are companies out there that don't want you to be using natural things that are going to support your health naturally. And so they will kind of hype up some things in order to try to just turn the general public away from using something that could overall be healthy and overall not have any bad side effects to it. So there's a few safety tips. Hope I didn't overwhelm you on that one. So let's keep moving on. And okay, here is one safety tip is that if you're using a citrus essential oil like lemon, orange, tangerine, yuzu, those can sometimes be photosensitive. And so you wouldn't want to apply lemon to your skin and then within about 5 to 12 hours go out in direct sunlight because it can kind of depigment the skin sometimes. So those are just a few things to know about safety tips. Now let's actually get into how to use the basic oils in the starter kit. You ready? And I've covered a lot of things already and you're like, I just want to know how to use the oils. But hopefully that's a good basic overview of what are essential oils and why we should be using them. So here's the how. So when it comes to frankincense, oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful oil. Frankincense is one of the top skin oils, and it actually helps to smooth the appearance of the skin. It is the key ingredient in Young Living's Brain Power oil blend. So frankincense is beautiful to diffuse during prayer time, and it helps with grounding and purpose. I personally love to use frankincense to just help me focus. And another interesting thing is you could put a drop on bug bites to help soothe some of the discomfort. So there's frankincense in a nutshell for you. I would say frankincense and lavender are the two most versatile oils out of everything we have. And so if you just need 2 essential oils to be able to use for a whole array of things, these are actually the first 2 that I would suggest. Now, with lavender, lavender is definitely known to be one of the #1 relaxing essential oils. So it is so beautiful before bedtime. If you wanted to take a spray bottle with a few ounces of water, add 5 to 10 drops of lavender oil and spritz your pillow with it, or spray the room with it, kind of a thing. That's beautiful. You could even do something like take the, oh my goodness, like you put it in your dryer. It's the wool dryer balls. Put a few drops of lavender on it, stick it in your dryer instead of the chemically dryer sheets, and your clothes are going to smell amazing when they come out of the dryer and just have a slight little bit of a lavender scent to them. Lavender is beautiful to put in the diffuser for a calming, soothing, just kind of time to unwind kind of a feeling. And it's also awesome to add to bath water. What I love to do is I take a cup of Epsom salts, I put about 5 drops of lavender essential oil in there and shake it up and put that in the bath water, because adding it to the Epsom salts helps it dissolve and emulsify all throughout your tub rather than just kind of oil floating on water if you didn't do that. And so let me think. Lavender, well, kind of like I said, it's so versatile. So it's known as the Swiss Army knife of essential oils. And everybody should have lavender oil. Lavender's also beautiful when applied to the skin for bruises, blisters, rashes, bug bites, and mild burns. For instance, like curling our hair. Oh, I touched my curling iron to my forehead. Have you ever had a blister there for some women? I just put a drop of lavender on it, and I'll literally put a drop of lavender on there once an hour for about 6 hours, and it makes a massive difference on the amount of time that will take to heal, as well as, you know, any pain that comes from that too. So that is my personal testimony. Now moving on to peppermint. This is such an amazing oil. And let me see if there's a video here. I'm not sure. Ooh, okay, so Peppermint Vitality. So this is the first vitality oil we're going to talk about. Peppermint Vitality actually supports the gastrointestinal system. It promotes healthy bowel function and enhances gut function. It helps maintain the efficiency of the digestive tract. It may support performance during exercise. And that is really cool because I love to add a drop of Peppermint Vitality, 1 to 2 drops, to a big bottle of water that I take to the gym. And I just sip on it as I'm working out. And it is so refreshing and so, so good. Or after a meal, if I've had a really big meal and I'm like, oh, my tummy's a little discomfort, you know, uncomfortable right now. I love sipping on my Peppermint Vitality water. So that's a beautiful thing. Peppermint regular version is really beautiful, like for a mild occasional headache when you apply it to your temples. So peppermint as well as lavender are the 2 go-tos for headaches. And that's good to keep on hand. Now, next, our Citrus Fresh, another vitality, awesome to put in water. And so this is actually a blend of orange, tangerine, grapefruit, lemon, and mandarin essential oil. It's a replacement for chemical-based home fragrances. If you were to diffuse it into the air, you know, spritz it around a room kind of a thing, amazing. Also, you can add it to your dryer to spritz up your linens, and that's amazing. And it's beautiful to help with the skin tone. Some folks, you know, old school, used to use lemon on dark spots on the skin. And so you may think of the Citrus Fresh a little bit like that. And also helpful for supporting the immune system when taken as a dietary supplement. And then same as lavender, you could actually add it to an Epsom salt bath and enjoy that beautiful citrusy smell in the bath. So how cool is that? So Thieves Vitality, another vitality, and I've already kind of talked about it, but Thieves has been proven to kill 99.9% of all germs and bacteria. Pause. Should I say that again? 99.9% of all bacteria. Right here. Right here. Take a mental note if you're like, oh, immune system. Oh my goodness, all this stuff's happening in the world right now. I have like 20 bottles of Thieves on hand right now for myself and for all my friends. Because inevitably somebody's going to call me and go, hey, do you have anything for immune system? And I'm really sick right now. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I can't tell you to go onto Young Living's website and order it because you need it right now. So I just run to my stash and go grab it, and I'll deliver it to them across town or whatever. And it's so fun. It just makes me happy. It is so empowering to be able to just like give someone something that is going to support their body's health naturally and know that it doesn't have side effects and it doesn't have chemicals in it. And it just is a beautiful peace of mind, you guys. So that's honestly why I'm on here tonight, is just to be able to share little tidbits of knowledge like this so that you can go home and be empowered to know that you don't always have to go run down to a store or a pharmacy or a hospital or whatever. Yes, there's cases that hospitals are amazing and we are so thankful for them. At the same time, we can have things like this in our own, let's call it a medicine cabinet, and really be ahead of the curve when it comes to taking care of our own health naturally. So about Thieves, it's beautiful to put in, like, take a drop of the Thieves Vitality and maybe an ounce of water and gargle with it. And so for me, I love that for my throat, to just gargle with a little bit of Thieves Vitality water. You could also make a tea out of it, because Thieves is a blend. Like I said, it is, oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to think, clove, rosemary, cinnamon bark, and lemon. And so amazing, amazing oil. And when you apply this to your feet or down your spine, what happens is that there's nerves that run all through your body, and the nerve endings are going to go, and the most nerve endings end in the bottom of your feet and then down your spine. So when you take an oil and put it on topically, what do you imagine is going to happen? It's going to soak it up and actually transport it all throughout your body in less than 20 minutes. And that's amazing. You know, the same thing happens if you were to take the Thieves Vitality and a little bit of water as a dietary supplement. Your body's natural transport system is going to eventually get it all throughout your body rather quickly. It's amazing. Amazing how our bodies work. So next, let's move on to something peaceful and calming. This is an amazing blend I love. It's called Peace and Calming. Some of the blends, if you wonder, what in the world is this good for? Think of the name of it and you'll probably figure it out. And then you'll probably think, do I need this? How should I use this? So Peace and Calming is one. I love to diffuse it into the air. I love to take a drop in the palm of my hand and just go like this if I ever need some calming and peacefulness. It's an awesome one before bed at night too. I will put it on the bottoms of my feet. I'll rub a little on the back of my neck. Amazing. So the next oil is Stress Away. And Stress Away, same thing. I kind of use these interchangeably, but you're going to figure out what you like the smell of and what resonates with your emotions the best. And whatever time of day or night it is, you're going to go, okay, this is, why I want to use this specific blend or single oil. Stress Away is something that I love to actually, with your starter kit, comes a roller top. And so you take the white top off, you pop out the little cap, you put the roller on there, and you screw on the other cap, and it'll pop it down in there. And then you've got your own roller. So you can use it as a perfume, da-da-da-da-da. So many of my friends keep this in their purse for girls or guys, gym bag. car, whatever, and your friends are going to love it. So you'll probably need to have a few bottles of this on hand because we're all stressed. There's just stress. We just live in a world where we're expected to do so much and go here and go there. So it's almost inevitable to live without stress. However, I believe that we can find that balance of things. That's a whole nother teaching I teach on, is the 5 core elements of a balanced lifestyle. And tune in and I'll share that at another time. But I love to incorporate stress away when I'm talking about having a balanced lifestyle, because we have to find a healthy way to manage our stress. And I'm not prescribing or diagnosing. I'm just saying I love stress away. So moving on to lemon vitality. This is very similar to the citrus fresh blend that I mentioned. Lemon, of course, can enhance the flavor of any of our foods. You can actually add lemon vitality to a glass of water, 1 to 2 drops. You don't need a lot. So I would only suggest 1 to 2 drops, especially if you're a brand new oil user, because there are so many tiny molecules in just 1 drop of essential oil that it's going to go in and do so much good in your body. You don't even need more than that. Unless you're really trying to intentionally do a cleanse. Lemon, as we know, just drinking lemon water is actually a natural liver cleanser. So that's one reason why you don't want to use too much of the lemon vitality oil, because it could do just that same thing a little bit too quickly though, and work as an extra good liver cleanser. So let's see what else. Of course, adding it to recipes is amazing. Just diffusing the normal lemon oil is beautiful. Sometimes I'll take lemon and peppermint together in the diffuser, and that's like a citrusy, uplifting kind of a smell, and I love that combination together. And so the next one, pan away. Okay, imagine the name of it, pan away. We actually used to call this one Pain Away until there was a need to rename it. So imagine that it is an oil that we use topically rather than internally. But the greatest way to use this topically is on location. So earlier today, I was working out and my shoulders definitely got a nice good workout. So that's when I'm going to go ahead and use 1 to 3 drops of the Pan Away on location and just let it soak in and do what it does. After a long hike, maybe for those that are a little bit older and you've got knee or joint pain or things like that, slight discomfort, apply it on location for such a soothing, amazing, amazing feel. So you could do this shoulders, back, knees, feet, etc. And it's just this tiny little bottle that it can do so much good. So much good. So now another vitality oil, Digestion Vitality. So think digestion. This is, when used as a dietary supplement, beautiful for supporting healthy digestion and just overall your digestive system. So awesome to put a drop in a glass of water. Personally, it's not my favorite taste or smell. Some folks love it, and that's awesome. However, I enjoy taking an empty gel capsule and putting a few drops of Digestion in there with some coconut oil, because when you take your coconut oil and your essential oil, it bonds onto it, and once it gets down in your tummy, you're way less likely to burp and taste it. I know that sounds lovely, right? But we're just being super real on here. So if you were just to take Digest in a capsule without any coconut oil, you might kind of like, oh, excuse me. Nobody tastes my breath right now. But it has been a lifesaver. This is an oil I do not go out of the country without. It has saved me so many times when eating out of buffets where you question the food, drinking water where you're not sure if it was been purified. that is a great time to actually add it to your water, or just taking kind of a few drops in a capsule as a preventative kind of a thing. So any missionaries on here? Take your Digest Vitality. So we just have a few more to go over tonight. There's 12 total. This one is Raven. So we talked about Thieves for overall immune system. Raven is beautiful when applied to the neck and chest area and inhaled. And think just overall like, oh, I can breathe and this is so fresh. And so that is your Raven. It's a blend of Raven Sara, peppermint, and eucalyptus radiata. Raven creates a cooling sensation when applied topically to the chest and throat, and awesome one to diffuse for just that soothing aroma. This oil changes the game for anything breathing. So just think anything breathing, awesome. Think your Thieves, anything overall immune support with that Thieves Vitality, especially. So there's the difference of those. Now, with this beautiful premium starter kit, you're actually going to get Ningxia Red. These are 2-ounce single packets, and this is just a sample because Young Living wants you to be able to try it. I drink 2 ounces of Ningxia Red every day. I be sure to keep on hand these packets for when I'm in the car and I'm running around town. I'll just grab one, and partway through the afternoon, if I feel like I just need a little pick-me-up, this is my go-to. I don't do 5-hour energy. I don't do monster drinks. I don't do any of that stuff that's gonna like spike your blood sugar or give you way too much caffeine and have some toxic chemicals in it, or food dyes as well. You guys, if we're trying to get the chemicals out of our home and out of our diet, we have to be aware of what we're eating and what we're drinking. And there is this little underlying tone of, oh, well, a person wouldn't normally use this chemical, but if we could put it in a drink that makes it somehow taste good and they're going to get addicted to, that's how we can get it in their body. Now, sounds a little harsh, right? But if you go down to the convenience store and you get a big old styrofoam cup of red stuff, look up the ingredients in that and see over time what those ingredients are going to do to your body. This is red, Ningxia Red, but this is chock full of nutrients, antioxidants, amino acids, essential nutrients that is going to actually feed the cells of your body. So when you're craving energy and when you are just like a little bit sluggish or whatever, go for your Ningxia Red, not something else that might momentarily satisfy your taste buds, but actually not do any good for the cells of your body and for the function of your body. So that's awesome, Ningxia Red. The Thieves, okay, beautiful essential oil, but it also comes in the Thieves spray and the Thieves hand sanitizer. So these may come in your starter kit, or you may also get the Thieves hand sanitizer little sample packets. And it's just awesome. Take it with you. This is really good for kids at school or a person who works out and about where, you know, you're kind of required to use hand sanitizer a lot. It's a great alternative to hand sanitizers. Oh my gosh, I think we have one more oil. Well, just one more, Valor. I mentioned it earlier, but Valor is one of my favorites to use in the morning and at night. It's not going to necessarily wake you up or put you to sleep, but what it does is it goes in and just really helps to align the body overall. And if you think of the word, it's amazing for men or women. Gary Young thought of this formulation because it was a time in his life where he needed some grounding and some strength. He was going through something and he really needed that fortitude and that strength. And so he thought, what oils can I put together that are going to be very grounding and give me this sense of valor? Like you think of a Roman soldier going into battle, like I need some valor. So this is that oil. It's beautiful for emotions, but also very helpful for the body when applied to the feet and down the spine. So let's see what else is here. Just to wrap it up, here you can see the premium starter collection with Young Living. This comes with the 12 essential oils and the diffuser. So here in the middle, you can see this gorgeous diffuser. It's called the Drop Diffuser. I probably have 3 of these at my house right now because I keep one in my kitchen, my living room, my bathroom, my office, and I just kind of rotate whatever essential oils I want to be diffusing where I'm at. If you've already got your starter kit, you know the details on it, but I'll share it really quickly in case there's anybody new on here. This is $165, and that's the wholesale price. So when you get this starter kit, that actually gives you Young Living's wholesale pricing for life. All you need to do is purchase $50, 50 PV once a year to keep your wholesale status. Anytime an order is over 100 PV, you get free shipping. And then we also have our essential, well, now it's called Subscribe to Save. And that is a monthly ordering system that you can do that actually gives you 10 to 25% back on every order that you place. Those points go into a piggy bank and you can use those points to purchase free products anytime you want to. So I've been on the subscribe to Save for, oh my goodness, 13 years. I have purchased so many free products. Every time Christmas rolls around or birthdays or anniversaries or whatever, I use my points to give free gifts to friends. Well, not free, but to give gifts to friends, to just be a blessing to my neighbors and families and things like that. So, what I would love to do now is open it up to any testimonies, actually. I think there are some family and friends on here that may have some really good testimonies, and I want everybody to hear that. So feel free to unmute yourself if you would like. And I'd love to go ahead and hear any testimonies, and I'm going to stop my screen share here. So was that helpful? I hope I gave you some great ideas on how to use those basic essential oils, as well as why to choose Young Living as your go-to for oils because of their quality standards. And also help, if you're a parent that has children, get your kids started young, because this will be a legacy for them, just as it has been for me. And don't be afraid to share, because however you use something is a testimony of how someone else could use it, and it could be a blessing to their life. So yeah. What do you say, Daniel? I just saw your video come up.
Yeah, honestly, I was going to say the one thing that I consider to be like the all-around go-to oil is Thieves. It's absolutely amazing. It's an oil that I use anytime like I start to feel just down and out, or I think maybe something's coming on, then that'll definitely be the oil that I try to use the most. Very good for, like you said, disinfecting things. If I really want to clean something, I know we're in the area of the era of COVID, and just cleaning surfaces and stuff like that. It's really good for that. I love to use it.
Do you use the Thieves household cleaner or the
Oh,
laundry
yeah.
detergent?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we use the laundry detergent every time we do laundry. That's really good.
So awesome.
Disinfecting the laundry. Highly recommend that one. Put it on your monthly subscription. I think that would be amazing.
Oh yeah.
I also use the oil a lot. We use the hand soap quite a bit.
The Thieves foaming hand soap. Amazing.
Yep, the Thieves foaming hand soap. That's one of our amazing ones. And so that's really good. Sophia, my wife, is actually an ER nurse, and she has a very unique use for the peppermint.
Oh, do tell.
Thieves sometimes too. I find it funny that even the hospital, before they did, they were doing like a cyst removal on somebody, and because that can smell, they actually ordered it for the nurse and the doctor. Like just this, it wasn't Young Living. It was just like a bottle. I don't know what brand it was, but anyway, they ordered it for us before we went into go do that procedure just because
Wow.
when they do the cyst, it can smell, and that just helps your stomach not get upset.
For
And
sure.
then last Christmas, I gave it to my brother, and he's in the Air Force, and he's a flight commander. He works in the back of the plane with like the weapons and everything, but he'd put it in his water because I mean it can help you not get sick too.
Oh yeah, for flying, nauseousness.
And keep your stomach nice and settled.
Yeah, that is so good. I know as kids, that was one mom would always bring on road trips, because if we ever got a little wheezy, she would just put a drop in the palm of our hand and kind of let us smell it, or put a little topically over the tummy. And it just does have that calming effect.
No, I put it on my stomach quite a bit when I had an upset stomach, and definitely like it almost numbed the area. So I forgot about it more so. And then I'll put it in my water too, because it's nice for it keeps me more alert during the day, especially with the 12-hour shift.
Oh my goodness, 12 hours. Yeah, that's a long time. Very fun. Oh, cool. Janine, I think I see you on. If there's anything you'd like to share, dear, feel free to. I'm thinking you can unmute yourself if you'd like. But
Elizabeth has to give her permission.
Yeah, I think you might have to give her permission.
I did. I went ahead and
Yeah, I think she's here.
enabled talking.
It says she's muted, but she might have.
Yeah, she might be muted.
Okay, that's all right.
I know there were several people on Facebook. So.
Oh, good. Well, thank you, Daniel and Sophia, for sharing. I would love for you guys to come on and join me sometime, because I feel like you're part of the younger generation, being 28 years old and 24, I think, Sophia. I feel so bad.
23.
27. Yeah, I mean, Daniel, you were only 2 years old when Mom started using essential oils.
Oh,
so you've grown to be 6'6" feet tall, and quite the world traveler yourself. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but I know one thing especially, we love traveling quite a bit, and like there are certain oils that I always take whenever we travel, and it's just like it's really necessary.
What would you say are your top 5 traveling oils? You don't even need to say what you use them for. Just tell me what they are.
Thieves, oregano, and thyme, especially for for their properties with viruses and with bacteria, things like that. Peppermint definitely, and lavender.
Okay, good.
I use tea tree a lot too.
She does.
Especially wearing the mask all day at work. I don't like wearing the masks, but the tea tree oil keeps bacteria away, and I've noticed it helps with acne. You can use that with insect bites and a lot of other things too.
Very good.
But I noticed that helps my face quite a bit.
Oh, so awesome.
Another huge one that I would highly recommend always is purification. That one is also very good.
So many uses.
Very good for bug bites. I mean, yeah, all around good oil.
Very awesome. Well, thank you guys for sharing. Oh, it's so fun. It's so fun to hear how everybody uses them. I am constantly learning new ways, especially from some of the newbies. If somebody's only used oils for a year and they're like, Elizabeth, guess what I do for XYZ? And I'm just thinking, I've never done that, never thought of it. Oh my gosh, okay, I'm going to try it now. So we learn so much from each other. And that's the beauty of just experimenting, and not being afraid to kind of try an essential oil like outside the box, but using those good safety guidelines like I talked about earlier. And it's such a fun world. So you know what? I'm going to go ahead and close this down tonight and just say thanks everyone for joining me. I'm going to be doing these every Monday night, 4 weeks a month. So next week is going to be all about Ningxia Red, which is the amazing antioxidant elixir that I mentioned earlier. And then the following week is going to be on the Thieves line and all of the different products that we have with Thieves. And then week 4 is going to be all about supplements. So anything and everything to do with Young Living supplements, because we have essential oil infused supplements that you will not find in the grocery store, but they That's really what sets us apart when it comes to supplementation and having the best things to metabolize in the body and for the body to utilize our supplements. So tune back in, check out lifewithrose.com, the events tab, and that is where you will find all of the event information for upcoming classes. All right, God bless. Till next week. Bye-bye.